Welcome back to this week's Inside the Idaho Vandals. I'm Dennis Patchen. Now the fight is on for the volleyball team to get to the conference tournament. And just like in football, when you have a sophomore setter, like when you have a sophomore quarterback, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. But the Idaho Vandal women certainly know what they're getting with their sophomore setter. Joey Jenkins has more on one of the stars on this year's team.
It can be a rough time for young players when they first jump into a starter role. But for sophomore setter Meredith Koba, the transition has turned out well. Koba knows that the process of becoming a leader is not a quick one, but understands the importance of being a vocal teammate.
It's just day by day. I've been trying to work to become a better leader, and it always takes time, especially being my first year, being that starting setter and coming and filling that role. But just talking and always giving feedback and always trying to be that one on the court that people can turn to and count on.
Head coach Debbie Buchanan says Koba is one of the most physical setters that the program has had, but knows the role of a setter can be a mental challenge.
She's like that quarterback out on a football team. She's got to be able to read the defense on the other side and what they're doing, and some of that takes time, and so I think that she is progressing, and she's, definitely going to be able to do this role for the next few years.
Koba understands that it's not just her that has helped the team to success, but an entire effort from all the positions on the court.
Early this season, we had some great preseason tournaments, and I had success from them, and I could never have gotten that without them. And the hitters are great, but it all starts in the back row. We couldn't do anything without our passers, and they've worked really hard this year, and we've all just really gotten a lot better and connected, and we love playing together.
The Vandals get ready for a couple of big WAC opponents over the weekend and are quickly coming up to the WAC tournament, which begins November 25th. For Inside the Vandals, this is Joey Jenkins.
Thank you, Joey. And Joey's going to be keeping a close eye on the volleyball team for us as they try to get into the postseason tournament. Time now for Campus Connection, where we take you inside the University of Idaho and the campus itself. But today we go outside of that because hundreds of Idaho students this past week put a day of service in and around the Palouse to try and help things out. Sunny Browning has more on Make a Difference Day.
University of Idaho students volunteered their time around the Palouse early Saturday morning. Student coordinator Michaela Iveson says it's a great way for students to get involved outside of campus.
In our community, we have about 25 service partners that we work with and send out about 500 U of I students into the community to do 2 to 3 hours of service with them.
Some students headed east of town to Soil Stewards. The University of Idaho Research Farm is a community-supported agriculture project that grows a variety of vegetables and plants year-round.
This community in Moscow just really supports the University of Idaho as a whole, and it's really nice. Being a part of something else that gives back to other things is awesome.
It's been a really special day out here, getting back to the roots, back to basics. It's really about love for the plants.
Other students headed north to help clean up at the Palouse Clearwater Environmental Institute.
So now we're planting some new trees that have been needed to be planted, doing some nice new landscaping up there, and really just kind of beautifying the nature center before the weather turns.
PCEI is open each day, dawn until dusk, to the Palouse community, offering miles of walking trails, an artist studio, and even a bike pump track.
Really, we just have a space to provide a resource for the community, a place where kids can come and learn about science and nature and have fun.
Student volunteers get the chance to explore new areas around the Palouse and make friends along the way. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Sunny Browning.
Always great to see the students out and about in the community. Well, it's Halloween week this week, and are the buildings on campus here at the University of Idaho haunted? Some say they are. We sent the only person brave enough to cover this story, Lauren Sanders, out to find out just if they are haunted or not.
Have you ever felt like you were being followed on campus? Rumor has it, spirits follow students in Ride and Ball Hall.
As one of the oldest buildings on campus, the music students who have class in these walls says the myths and legends surrounding this building are true.
I've heard everything from people practicing in here at night and hearing pianos and then going to the room and finding no one, to the story of the girl, and this was a women's dorm, hanging herself in the stairs.
The death Skylar is referring to happened here on the second floor, where a young girl was found hanging in room 225.
But for other students who refuse to believe, They feel the stories are all make-believe.
I mean, it just gets scary because they turn off all the lights and you hear people, practicing. So it's really up to your imagination if it's, a student practicing or something else in the corner.
Now, the truth may be hard to find, but what about someone who frequents these halls at night? Custodian Dale Amsbaugh has had first-hand accounts with these spirits.
But there has been a few times where I'd hear somebody walking and I know I'm the only person in the building. I hear doors shut, footsteps up and down the stairs. There has been times where I'd clean some glass or a window or something, and I know for a fact nobody else has been in the room. I turn around, there's fingerprints all over the glass or the window.
And with the spirits being active, what a better place to host a haunted house. The two music fraternities had a haunted house in the hall last Saturday night, where all proceeds went to the Moscow Community Food Bank.
Whether or not you believe in the supernatural, Reidenbaugh Hall is the last place I would want to be this Halloween. For Inside the Vandals, I'm Lauren Sanders.
Well, that's going to do it for us on this trick-or-treat weekend. Hopefully, plenty of treats, no tricks next week when we come back as we take a look back at the Texas State game and another home game. We'll take a look ahead at Old Dominion. Will be in this dome coming up next week. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Inside the Idaho Vandals. We hope to see you next week right here.
Taylor Davis's pass is caught by number 1, Desmond Epps, for an Idaho Vandal touchdown.